LTV to the CAC ratio. LTV stands for lifetime value, or the worth of a customer to you, how much revenue or profit you are making from the customer. The CAC is your cost of acquisition. How much are you acquiring each of your customers? Why is this very important? Because you may have budgetary limitations, and even if you don't have budgetary limitations, you want to be sure that you are getting value for any money that you're spending on any channel at all, right? And some channels are almost free. Something like SEO is almost free, but maybe it's not totally free because maybe you're spending money on some tools, maybe like SEMrush, Ahrefs. You're still spending money on some tools, or you're still spending money on sort of like some PR so that you can gain backlinks from some of the PRs that you're doing, right? PR as a channel linking back to your site. You're still spending money, so it still comes with a cost. So you want to be sure that you are getting value from a particular channel also, because the LTV to CAC ratio of some channels will be lower, right, than some other channels. Maybe some other channels are just better. So what's the lifetime value, or what we call the LTV? The uh, the complex calculation for this is when you have um, complex calculation for this is when you have sorry, the complex calculation for this is your gross margin. That's how much the gross margin percentage times 1 over monthly churn. What's like your monthly churn, and multiply that by the average monthly subscription revenue per customer. Pretty complex. But for example, if you had a gross margin of 30%, gross margin being like the profit after you've paid every other thing, right? That's your margin. And monthly as customer churn of 5%, so you keep losing people at like 5%. And each of the customers spend an average of $30 with you every month. That's what people are spending with you every month. The calculation will look like this, and then you have $180. That will be what the worth is. That's what you are getting basically from each customer. But I think there are other three ways that you can actually help to calculate that, which is your average monthly revenue per customer, and then customer lifetime value in months, or the average monthly revenue per user, and then you divide it by monthly churn, right? How much churn are you having? How much revenue are you having? So you look at the average for the revenue per customers, and then the churn. Or you do average order value times number of repeat sales, and average retention time in months. This will be useful for e-commerce. So your lifetime value will vary based on the type of business that you are also doing, because businesses vary, and so they can define their lifetime value in various ways. Um, the first one here, it's suitable for a subscription model business. And so what's this here is the LTV to CAC ratio. Usually what you want is that your lifetime value should be higher than your cost of acquisition, right? And it's basically customer lifetime value divided by customer acquisition cost, right? So if you acquire somebody, if the customer lifetime value is $30, for example, in this case, customer lifetime value is $800, and the customer acquisition, right, is $400. Now that's a lot. Customer acquisition cost, let's say, is actually $400. Then what happens here is that your LTV to CAC ratio is actually 2, right? So you are getting 2 times more value from customers than the amount that you are using to get the customer. So you want to pay attention to that. So usually you do not want your CAC to be higher than your lifetime value, right? Rather, you want your lifetime value to be higher than your CAC. As you can see, the one that is weightier is the one on the right. So this is what you want. You do not want a balance. You do not want one. You want something that looks like this. And so one of the things that we also do calculate when we are looking at acquisition and retention is to look at your payback period, because here on that straight horizontal line, you are looking at churn, right? And then as this thing grows up, you are looking at lifetime value over a time period. So this is churn over a time period, and the lifetime value over a particular lifetime, right? Over a lifetime. So that's what you're looking at. Initially, maybe your cost of acquisition, you can see there it starts from the bottom where it is super higher than your LTV. And then you want to calculate how long will it take for me to get my money back if I invest this particular amount. That's what this is talking about here. And so you have a CAC payback period. There's a payback period calculator anyway. Maybe I'll also share that, where you input how much you're spending on a particular place, and you can sort of calculate how much, when you are going to get your money back on the investment that you are putting. It actually helps you to determine runway as a startup, so that when you are able to do your payback period calculation, you can know whether we should continue. Because if either you need more investment to raise more funds so that you can extend the runway, because you know that there's going to be a payback period, but otherwise you may have to then extend your own runway by letting yourself know that, oh no, we can't keep spending this type of money, and we need to actually look for maybe alternative sources, or like another hack to be able to do that. So if you want to increase like lifetime value, you can upsell. Maybe you have another product you upsell. Can you see upsell there? You can cross sell also, because when you upsell, you cross sell maybe like a similar product for users that are already on your platform. So for example, in fintech app, what you specifically want people to do, or maybe banking as a service, is to just recharge cards, recharge their cards, recharge their recharge their airtime. But can they do other things? Can they pay other bills? What else will you add to the platform that can help you to make more money from the user? So you have platforms for the gig economy where they have a dollar account. When money is received into the dollar account, they get funds. But if they want to make more money, they also provide virtual cards, and they also make money from the virtual card. That way, you are getting more value from your customers. So maybe this has to also do with how your product evolves, so that if you spend a specific amount of money, you are able to literally make the money back and have a higher LTV to CAC ratio. So typically you want your lifetime value ratio to lifetime LTV to CAC ratio to be greater than 3. That's what you are always looking for. Typically you want it to be greater than 3. So typically you want it to be greater than 3. I do not think there's a major justification for something being greater than 3, and if you can even do greater than 3, all the better. And so you have this graph created here, where if your LTV to CAC ratio is lesser than 1, that's like a triangle of unprofitable debt. You're burning cash more than you are earning revenue, more than you are getting value. If you are between 1 and less than 3, maybe you are not up to 3, that's like a wedge of malaise. Well, there's room for improvements in that place, but it's still not the place you want to be. Where you want to be is on this side, where your LTV is very high, and your CAC is not so high. That's why it's on that left hand side, right? Because the CAC starts from 0, so you're looking for something where the CAC is not so high and the LTV is so high. That gives a silver of hope, and it helps the investors also to predict whether they want to keep investing. So a good business model will be such that your CAC is lower than your LTV. But a poor business model is a situation where you have a higher CAC than your LTV. So you want to make sure that you do that. Now, one of the things to note is this: when we are talking about acquisition, we want to actually monitor how we are retaining the users that we are bringing in through whatever channel, whether it's a growth loop like that of SurveyMonkey, which I mentioned earlier on. How are we retaining those people? So if you have like a loop, if it's a linear source, how are we retaining them? One of the tools that helps us to check out retention or to check out churn rate is what we call the cohort analysis. A cohort analysis is you picking a segment of your users, maybe based on a particular time frame that they signed up, And sometimes you can even segment further. So you have like 3 channels you are using, and you are looking at each of the weeks. So you have 3 different cohorts, and so you have like maybe like a referral channel, you have like a SEM channel, your search engine marketing, you have like Facebook channel, and then you are tracking people that are coming from each of those channels, and look at which particular channels um, is actually giving you retentive users, like which one is retaining users over a time period. You want to look at that because that's very important, because that's where you can find out whether your LTV to CAC ratio actually makes sense for you. So it usually looks something like this. So look at for all sessions here, because we have this on Google Analytics. So this is 2015. This is a daily cohort, right? It tracks things based on days. But depending on your type of business, you can track by week, or you can do like a weekly cohort analysis. If you use Google Analytics, whether for your app or for your website, Google Analytics already has cohort analysis. So you can configure it. If you configure it properly, you can find that on Google Analytics. In this particular instance, you see that on May 26, day 0 is the day that people join your maybe app, or they sign up or something. So you see an instance here where by the second day, this particular app or business has lost about 92% of users who do not come back to the platform, because you can see 8.29 there on May 26, right? So if they started with 7,113 users, only 8.29% are actually retained by the second day. By the time you get to the 12th day, they only have 1.19% left. On May 27th, for example, you have a situation where it seems like maybe people were reawakened, because on the 12th day, for people that signed up on May 27th, after there was a dip on day 10, 1.87 and 1.50, I'm talking about May 27th now, we had a situation where there was a jump again. So maybe something happened. So maybe there's something that one can do, or these particular people did on day 12 to reactivate the people that were not doing anything. So you want to find out and notice specific patterns. You want to find out and notice specific patterns. So you also have something like this. This is like a weekly cohort. See something like this. You have a situation here where by the 12th week, you barely have just between 10 to 15%. But there's like an outlier month here. We don't know what happened on June 1, 2014. What happened to those specific users, because there was a serious drop. So you want to investigate those particular cohorts. Why did we lose so much people for those particular cohorts? I'm talking about the cohorts in June 1, 2014. June 1, 2014. If you see this, you see like 6.5% drop. Whereas for the other previous weeks, people that signed up in previous week, at least you still have 12% of them staying in. You still have 15% of them staying in. You still have 10%. So what happens to the people that signed up on June 1? Maybe they are not your right audience. Maybe there was a mistake there. So you shouldn't continue the same thing that you did in that week of June 1 to June 7, 2014. You shouldn't. Maybe they are not the right audience, or maybe something happened in the middle. Something must have happened which you need to investigate. And one of the ways you can investigate is just to send a survey out to people and kind of know what's happening to those particular cohorts. So I used to do like a cohort analysis where if I notice a pattern for a particular cohort for a particular week, you either do user surveys, or you send surveys to those particular group. If a particular group is highly converting, that means I retain them a lot. Could it be the time of sign up? Is there something about that particular week that I should be aware of? Is it that at the beginning of every week, the first week of every month, is it that the sign-ups are better? Could that be the case? And I say that because And well, maybe this is not totally true. I say that because if you check June 1, you have 24% by week 2. If you go check August 3, you have 22%. I mean, that doesn't mean it's not available. So you want to look at pattern. That doesn't mean it's not available. You don't have 24%, or 20 something percent, but is there something unique about the first week of the month? Because on May 4th, you have 23%. On June 1, you have 24%. On August 3, you have 22%. Compare that to August 10th, 16% in week 1. That's the second week. On June 17, 12%. So what's going on? Is there something specific about this particular app or this particular platform where we should maximize the first week of the month? So you ask a lot of questions. Does the week of the month of that particular month affect? Does a particular month even affect? What happened in January? Are we, all the people that are signing up in January, are we retaining them? What particular week is that week where we can never, maybe we can't regain people again? We've lost the customers that we don't activate. What particular week is that, beyond which, if we do not do something between that particular week, that's yes. For example, while working with one of the fintech companies that I've worked for, we realized that we did like a 28-day cycle where if we do not activate the people, we use SWOT analysis. Like, we realized from the data that if we do not activate people within 28 days, like if a new user joins and we are unable to get them within 28 days, is as good as gone. Like, it's not going to increase. So if we got like 100 people on day 0, we have to find a way to get a lot of them to be active, because we realize that after that 28th day in our cohort analysis, the percentage is not likely to increase. It just keeps decreasing and decreasing. So you want to be mindful of where is the point where it helps you to know what time period is it for people to get activated or for people to be churned. So that's very, very important. And then that can then inform your, like, maybe do we send welcome emails? What do we do? Everything we need to send, we need to send it within 28 days to activate people. Do we need to do push notifications if you have a app? So those are things that you want to look at when you are looking at your cohort analysis. And so, because cohort analysis definitely help with retention. So the opposite of retention is churn, which means you are losing customers, right? So for example, this is Star Industries, where, for example, in year 1, they had 2,000 customers. In year 2, they had 1,600 customers. In year 3, they have 1,280 customers. So you see that there's like 20% churn every year. They keep losing 20% of their customers every year. So you want to watch out for that. The truth about it is that for companies that are already old in the business, and maybe they're already so old in the business. I mean, look at this graph, for example. You will notice that churn actually strongly correlates with company age. As a company gets older, their churn tends to diminish. That means they don't lose people. When a company gets older, they don't lose people. So in your previous year as a startup, churn is one of the things that can really affect you. So for younger companies, for startups, you can really be affected by churn compared to companies that are already trusted, companies that are already known. People really churn. So for example, you have companies that have stayed for less than a year. Look at the churn rates. And so the churn rate actually decreases with the age of the company, right? That means the older the company gets and they've perfected their product market fit, they've perfected all that they're doing, the users trust them, they become a brand, and you see that they're able to retain more of their users, which is why you, as a new startup or as a growth manager, you have a double work to do to keep so that they don't probably go to competitors and all that. So churn strongly correlates with age of company. One of the ways to help you to check churn is, even when people are churning, maybe they unsubscribe or they want to deactivate your app or they want to just cancel subscription. One of the things you can do is carry out a churn survey. Yeah, carry out a churn survey. Yeah, so you carry out a churn survey as people are leaving. Why not find out why they are leaving your platform? That's always a good place to start. And A churn survey can look like this, or a feedback survey from people that are leaving your product. If they don't want to use your product again, you want to know why. See, there's no point guess. In growth hack, we do not guess. We do not try to guess. Either we ask our customers or we use best industry standard approach or best practices, but we do not guess. Remember, when we started the course, we said growth marketing or growth hacking is highly data driven. Part of the data is your qualitative data. Why did you decide to cancel your subscription? And then put it there. Give them an opportunity to also talk. If you've discovered most of the reason why people are doing that, so why? Ask them why, and then if there's anything else they would like to share, ask them, because it's very very important. Now, one of the things to notice that when people feel there are different churn feedback categories. Either people are not using the product or the price, maybe it's an issue of price. If it's an issue of price, you actually want to further ask them more questions. So, some surveys will say, "Will you mind us calling you just to get more feedback?" So, like in this survey now, maybe you end it with, "Will you mind calling you or reaching out to you for more feedback about your answer?" So, for example, you can then ask them question based on what they've chosen or based on the reason that they gave. So, for example, somebody that is not using your product, like what I'm canceling this because I don't use this product anyways. So, an example is like, we are not using your product anymore or at all. So, when you call them or you are doing your customer, you can even do a further survey that you send to them, or you call. I usually call because when we've had churn survey, churn user like that, what I do is to call. What I do is to call, speak to your users, ask them question. How long has it been since you stopped using the product? Ask them. Of course, you want to corroborate that with, if you have like a tool that shows the last time that they were logged in, because if you are into app marketing, you can check the last time somebody logged in, using Mixpanel or Amplitude, which is one of the products to check out if you are doing app marketing, and there's a free version. You can ask them, did you feel like you had a proper onboarding and enough training to be successful? Maybe the onboarding, maybe they don't know how to use the product. That's what you're trying to get at. And then what made your usage decline over time? Maybe they were using it before, then they stopped using it. What made it to decline? Find out why. You have to ask why. The only way to know how to reduce this thing is to ask. And then based on what the response they give you, you are asking yourself the question, were they truly inactive in the product? How do you confirm? You can use product like UXCam. If there's the means there for you to do it, it's a bit pricey, but there are other ones like True Story, which can capture how users are doing whatever they are doing on the platform. So, are they truly inactive? If somebody can say they are not active, because it's a self-reported data, they can say they are not using it. Maybe they were truly using it, but they and then you can check from the screen recording that this person is using the app. Why did he say he's not using it? You want to be sure because you want to corroborate your data. Were they ever successfully onboarded? Maybe the onboarding was not just successful enough, and then find out what made them to drop off. And how will you know that? From the questions you are asking them. So some people can also be leaving your products because of price. In other words, your product is not worth the price, maybe to them. And it may not be that it doesn't worth the price. Maybe you are reaching the wrong people, because that's another thing. The product might be worth the price, but maybe you've been onboarding people that are not meant for your product. So you want to ask them questions again. This is after all these things are after they filled the survey, right? The basic survey, because somebody just canceled. They won't answer all these questions when they are trying to cancel. You just want them to tell you why, and if they have any other more thing to do. They're already maybe angry, annoyed. Just ask them simple question, and then you can then follow up because you have their details. So you can ask them, okay, can we contact you more? So you do surveys or you reach out to users to know why. Reach out to users. That's the way. There's no guessing. So you ask them the question, what didn't the product do that you are expecting? Is there something that the product you expect the product to do? Because this is a question of it's not worth the price. So like if this thing cannot do this, then why am I paying this amount? Or what will have provided enough value to you? You are looking for value. What can you mention something that you expected that product will have done that the product didn't do? Did you value the product but just couldn't justify its price? Or is it that the product has value? Oh, I know. but it still does not worth the price. And then you ask yourself the question: does the customer meet your ideal customer profile? Right? That's it. Maybe it's not your customer profile. Maybe they are not your customer profile. Maybe that's why they are churning. And if so, why didn't they see the value? If they match your customer profile, why didn't they see the value? Is there a disconnect between the buyer, right, and the user? You know, so you want to find out things like that. And so you also want to look at maybe another reason why people leave a product is because there's another competitor. Maybe the price is better, so they went to another competitor. So in a sense, they're saying we are switching to a different product. So you ask them the question: what are the specific reasons you are switching to a competitor? There will be there will be reasons. What do competitors have? Oh, these competitors have this. You people don't have this. Or is it price? Is it functionality? Is it integration? Why really are they moving to other competitors? Again, you ask yourself, did they fit our customer profile? If so, this one should be very high profile because they are moving to other competitors. Also, is there a feature? Is there a future specific reason why they are leaving? So it's a case, okay, we have issues with future X or needed a specific feature that your product does not have. There's a feature we are looking for, your product does not have it. Then you can go ahead, pick up the phone, call them, and ask them, did you believe this was something that existed in the product before you bought it? Is it that they didn't know? Because if you are looking for something, you bought the product. So why did you say the product does not have it? Did we communicate something in did we communicate something and you thought the product had it, you bought it, and you then churned? Why? So did we know this ahead of time? Those are the questions you ask yourself. How many of some of your other customers are in this category, right? Was this feedback already provided by the customer and we choose not to act on it? Was it that there was, oftentimes customers will tell you that, why don't you guys have this? We have a lot of people that has given us this feedback that, I wish you can add this feature, and we didn't listen to them. And especially when we look at the customer support. So the growth person is looking at the customer support. Like, are people asking for a specific feature? We are not responding to that because, see, the customers determine what they want. You can't determine everything the customer wants. You let the data drive how your product actually also grows. And then the last two will be the adoption, which is, people, customers saying, oh, we couldn't get enough adoption of your tool across our team. So you ask them a question: would a more comprehensive onboarding process, maybe it's onboarding, maybe they didn't understand it. Does the product lack features or functionality that the team was looking for? And then you begin to ask yourself the question: do we have any feedback from inactive users on a subscription? So we have people that are inactive is there. Maybe we need to now reach out to inactive users. Remember, these people are people that churned. They were active, but they churned. Or was the process for their onboarding, what was their process for onboarding? Maybe it's the onboarding that is making the adoption. Maybe they don't understand how to use the product. It's complex. Why is it complex? And then you have temporary use case. Maybe you just wanted to use your product for a while. It's not as if you want to use it for a long time. So it's a case of, okay, fine. You wanted to use it for a short time, but were you satisfied with your experience when you were using it for short time? At least, were you satisfied? Do you think you have similar project requiring the products in future? Maybe will you do something like that again in future? You want to ask those questions. So, and then you now ask yourself, is there anything we can do from a product side to make our solutions more valuable on an ongoing basis? Is there something we can do to make it look like something that can be valuable for people on an ongoing basis? So those are the further questions you want to ask. So um, you want to do that survey. So how to do that? How to actually reduce your churn rates in the first instance? Now this is for people that have churned. But how do you even reduce churn rate first before you even call these people? How do you attack churn rate? Because if you reduce churn rate, it means that retention rate is high because retention is the opposite of churn. First, how good is your user onboarding? How good are you building customer relationships with your customers? Are you identifying users as risk for churn? And you have a lot of systems that can help you to do this. You can identify users on some platform if you are using app platforms like WebEngage or CleverTab or Customer.io or Engage.so. If you're an app, you can actually, they have like RFB, what they call like recency, frequency, and monetary value, sorry, RFM. So you are able to see people that are at risk of churning. So you can know whether somebody is about to churn because they use the AI system to be able to look at the patterns of people that have churned in the past. What are their characteristics, and then use that to predict people that are likely to churn. So you are able to quickly send them message. You are able to quickly, call them or whatever you need to do that. You can actually know people that are at risk ahead of time. You also get customer feedback from time to time. Don't wait till they churn. Do customer feedback from time to time. How are you enjoying the product? Do you prefer, ask questions ahead of time and take user surveys before people churn so that you know where you need to improve upon. You also look at customer segments, some specific customer segments. Um, Also, the cancellation flow. Do you want to optimize cancellation flow? If somebody wants to cancel, do you want to say, you know what, why are you canceling? Is it the price? Ask right there before they complete their cancellation, right? Because they want to remove their card. I say, okay, you know what can we do to? Do you want to? If you come back in, we're going to give you 50% off because you don't want to lose them. So maybe you want to optimize your cancellation flow, how people cancel your product. Do you want to promote annual subscription? Because annual subscription can be promoted. That means you give discount on annual subscription. A lot of apps do this. A lot of SaaS apps do this where they try to push annual subscription. They try to tell you that you can save 40% if you do annual subscription. That way, you have the person for 1 year. So you're not charging every month. So you want to promote annual subscription. And then do you want to have multiple payment methods? Maybe one of the issues is inability to pay. So do you want to give people opportunity to create two different methods? So yeah, we stop here. And then in the next module, which is our last module, we will look at the growth process or the growth process where we learn about experimentation. What's the process and the framework for growth? We just looked at customer acquisition and retention. I hope you got something. See you in the last one.